Hey everyone, this is Deri, and welcome to the No Regrets series. Now, if you haven't seen the intro video, please step back and go into video number 1, which is the introduction of where this came from. So I'm going to dive straight into it, which is regret number 6. We're on the countdown. Now, this came in slightly different guises in the words that people used for this, but essentially the regret was not traveling more often. Now, for me, this clearly has adventure linked into it, okay? But that didn't come out of the studies. I wish it did. But actually, clearly, I'm a bit of a crazy guy, and people don't resonate with that. But traveling absolutely did. So this came in forms of wishing they'd done something. A lot of it came from experiences. They wanted to experience something. This is where I think so many people are kind of going bucket list stuff and doing bungee jumping and riding rapids and all that kind of stuff. That was a big thing that came out. People wanted to experience this world, and a lot of that involved travel, right? A lot of people just want to travel. But I don't think any of us just wants to travel, right? We don't want to just get on an aeroplane. That's because that's my old business world, right? You don't want to get on an aeroplane and just go somewhere and then come back. You want to experience all of life, and some of that is experiencing different parts of the world. This, for me, is a very core in my being, but it involves travel at the deepest level. And this is where the Global Adventurers Grand Slam was born on. When my father died, one of the first decisions I made is I'm going to go out, no regrets, and I'm going to do the greatest things that this world has to offer. Now, that involved climbing the 7 highest mountains in the world, going to the 2 poles, running across the desert, running across the jungle, and an Ironman. That was my big adventure bucket list, of which I have now knocked off quite a few, actually. But for me, that was not only did I want to travel, I wanted to experience the greatest adventures Earth has to offer. And I go about that every single year, as most of you well know. But there's equally another side to me which a lot of people don't see, which is the travel side. I've already, I think, I did a list recently about 43 countries now. I love to travel, but I love to experience different cultures. So if I go to a place, I want to experience a wonder there. I want to experience the culture there. I want to just sort of see something amazing, feel something amazing. And I've been very blessed to do that in many places. I've also been blessed to speak in many places around the world, but I'm not a road warrior on the speaking stages. I very rarely will go and speak, but I will go and speak in places that I haven't been to and I really want to visit, and then I can actually speak and experience something deeply whilst I'm there. I've spoken from Kathmandu, I believe it, I spoke to the CEOs of Kathmandu, amazing trip, to Vancouver, and that's part of the businesses I've set up for myself, which is allowing the travel to intermerse with the business of what I do. So have a think about what travel means to you. And I think this is a massive one for people. It came out quite consistently and was ranked higher actually by younger people than older people. But I also don't want you to think that this means massive adventures and global travel, because some of you, it's a lot simpler. And I use this example when I actually did my TEDx in Edinburgh. It was the big Edinburgh hall there. And a lady came up to me afterwards and just said, because I was talking about no regrets in that, and she said, "Thank you so much, but I know my regrets travel, but I don't know what to do about it because I can't really do all the big global stuff that you're doing." And I said, "Well, that's my stuff, by the way. You've got to find out what your stuff is." And she said, "I just can't travel." By the way, I hate that word. My children aren't allowed to use that word. There is no such thing as can't, right? But while she was talking to me, I could hear she had a different accent. I always be careful with accents because you never know. But I said, "Are you Italian by any chance?" And she said, "Yes." She come from Milan. And I'm like, "And you're regretting travel?" And she went, "Well, yes, because I just don't get to travel." I went, "Well, you're Italian and you're in Scotland. That's a good start, right?" And she said, "Yes, but you don't understand. I'm just here studying because I'm studying for a while." I said, "Have you just taken a look around Scotland?" And she went, "Well, no, I'm just here studying." I went, "You're probably in one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Get on a bus." And then she started to use budget as an excuse. And I'm saying, like, the buses cost £3.50. You'll spend that on a glass of wine or beer or whatever you do with students these days, right? And she started to break down and understanding that sometimes we get hung on, I want to go to Thailand to experience the most amazing things over there. And then I can't afford that, therefore I won't do it. For me, adventure started small, travel started small, and a lot of this time, actually 80% of the travel I do is local. I live in the UK. It's the most beautiful country, I think. And so much to explore within a 20-mile radius where I am. So much to explore in London, so much to explore in Scotland. We are living in a world which is surrounded by amazing stuff. So when we're not necessarily mean you have to go to the other side of the world. Save for it, sacrifice for it, do what you need to do to make the real big dreams come true, but don't wait. I'd like to have an adventure every week, and that can be exploring the local countryside with my children, going into the woods, going deep. There's so much stuff within a square mile area of where you live which you haven't explored yet. So please don't wait for this. I think so many did, and this was one of my father's regrets. He wanted to travel, and he only wanted to travel to Egypt and one other place. I think that was his whole aspirations. He could have done it any time. He just didn't. So have a think about what travel means to you. What would you regret if you died tomorrow? What would you like to do this year? What is the big thing, the small thing? What can you afford? What's realistic for you? And just do. Just get on with it. You've got to make a plan. Go for it. Research it. Do something. Make the moves. So whatever you do, please just start stepping into that journey so you don't go out with regret in years to come. Now, do the work. Just do. And I'll see you in the next video, because number 5 is coming up.